and welcome to the third installment of I Hope This Helps, a set of videos aimed at helping solo vocal and guitar performers. So I've entitled this video Riding with the Loop, and we'll see what that entails very soon. In our last video we used the loop pedal to add one short looped section, to add a change in texture and introduce a lead line into our arrangement. In this video we're going to make a loop that will serve as the basis of the entire song. We're going to look at different approaches as to what to add and subtract on top of that. So the song I've chosen is an Oasis song called Champagne Supernova. I've shortened it because it's a very long song. Let's get started. Okay, so you can hear it starts with this kind of descending open chord thing. By itself, it sounds complete. It has bass notes, it has high notes, it has rhythm, it has movement. I could just leave the loop like this and it would be a nice accompaniment. Now, as I discussed in the previous videos, when I play this opening theme into my looper, I've got to give my timing full concentration, because that is the basis of my entire song. Once I hit record, I can't go back and fix it. So the next thing I want to try and add is I want to emulate a drum kit. Now this sounds a bit strange, but in your drum kit you have your bass drum or your kick drum and you have the snare drum. Basically a low hit and a high hit. What I do in this arrangement is I play a bass line going down the 7th string, and that's like my bass drum. So my bass line's going dum, ba-bum, bum, 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 bum. And then to emulate my snare drum, I just mute the strings and play a rhythmical kind of shot on 2 and 4. So I get boom, cha, ba-bum, boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, boom, cha. It's not a drum kit, obviously, but it's hinting at what a drum kit would provide. I think this adds a lot to a loop. If you can get what we call the backbeat, these are usually beats 2 and 4. And this idea of the bass drum and the snare drum, there's so many different combinations you could have between those two elements. I could still do the same strumming over the top, but if I had different rhythms and combinations of those two happening underneath, I could add a lot of variation without having to learn lots more strumming. So that's something to consider. This is my method of making this kind of drum beat. Some people actually have microphones in their guitars where they can thump one bit of the body, or they can crack the other part with their nails, or they hit the side of the guitar and they have different sounds. My guitar doesn't do that, so this is how I choose to do it. You could see once I stopped playing, I just stood and listened for about half a loop. And that's important, that if you have that chance, just to let it play and just check that it's sitting and it's grooving and it's what you wanted before you proceed to the rest of the song. Otherwise you're going to be fighting against it for the entirety of the song. So once the loop was established, I started playing a higher guitar part over the top. I think in the record it's like an Chord, some type of keyboard. that plays this register. By adding a loop pedal, we've gone from just accompanying ourselves on the guitar to having almost like 3 layers. I've got this bass line and a fake kind of bass drum. I've got the chords above that in the middle, and now I'm playing a higher guitar part over the top. There's these 3 parts kind of all doing their own thing. So it's so much more full and interesting to listen to than it was just me playing by myself. Okay, here's the first verse and the first chorus. How many special people change? How many lives live strange? Where were you while we were getting high? Slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball. Where were you while we were getting high? Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova in the sky. And someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova, a champagne supernova in the sky. So what I noticed there was I did have this up in my top layer of the arrangement. I didn't want to fully give that up because I liked having the 3 layers, but I needed to make space for the vocal, so I think I ended up playing just these descending. Of course I wanted to get the famous guitar line in there. I didn't want to go from having all 3 layers going to losing the whole top layer altogether. So I literally played 1 note at a time, and then I got rid of it. So I did like a mini fade out. That's all we'll be doing throughout this whole arrangement, is adding something in, bringing it out, letting something else come in and take its place, all over the basis of this loop that we've got recorded. I want my chorus to be louder than this, but I can't really turn the loop up, so I need to play something on top of the loop that's going to increase the volume. So in order to develop the idea, this descending line, I introduce rhythm in the same register, if you like, still up at the top of the spectrum here, so this kind of thing. I've just taken the descending line and added some more movement around it, and that's how I'm building my chorus up. And that sees me through back into the line that you've already heard. Let's have a listen to the second verse and chorus. Wake up at dawn and ask her why. Dream a dream, she never dies. Wipe that tear away now from your eye. Slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball. Where were you while we were getting high? And someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova in the sky. Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova, a champagne supernova. So I've basically done the same thing again. I've come into the verse and I've got my descending line. But like most second verses with me, I'm a bit louder and I'm really trying to make something happen now. When I go into this chorus, I do like a build up. one of my main rules with a looper is don't loop what you were going to play in the first place. I've seen so many people do this. And it's really a waste of time. Why have the same sound twice? Now, I come awfully close to that, but I think I just get away with it, and here's why. Okay, I've got my opening loop, which is... Excuse the tuning here. I've got those chord voicings, and I just strum them. But because the other one is so cleanly arpeggiating the chord, I think for that short section they can coexist. So in very simple terms, if you want to use a looper, it might be a good idea for you to learn more than one voicing of each chord. What do I mean by voicing? I mean the arrangement of the notes in the chord. So for example, if I was to play an A chord down here, maybe learn that there's an A chord here, and I could just play a high version. And what this will allow you to do is when you loop one of the voicings of your chord, you can then play the other one, and instead of having this many notes, you have this many kind of living together. Okay, you start to build layers into your arrangement. So back to the song. Why am I making my second chorus really, really loud? It's because there's an extra section in this song where I switch the loop off and the chords change, and it's got a very loud dynamic. So I'm going to strum the life out of my guitar for a short time. Now this will give the audience something totally different to listen to, and hopefully it'll put across a little bit of energy. 'Cause people believe that they're gonna get away for the summer. 'Cause you and I will never die. The world's still spinning around. We don't know why. So in this new section, we're providing contrast. Now in the last video I talked about dynamic contrast, loud and quiet, and rhythmical contrast, whether you're allowing space or you're going to fill the space with lots of notes. This is our contrast part of the song. And what I want you to listen to here is as we come out of that strumming section back into the loop. Listen to how when I press the loop pedal back on, how everything just spaces out. It just leaves room for something to happen, and it lets the audience kind of calm down from all that intensity that they've just heard. Let's watch that again. 'Cause you and I will never die. The world's still spinning around. We don't know why. And now we're going to add an instrumental section using the loop pedal. So I really wanted to add the guitar solo part of this song. So in order to achieve this, I recorded the line down in this octave, this one. I recorded it and added it to the loop. I then pressed stop. So the loop plays on and it played back what I just recorded. And I played it again an octave up. So I was getting that unison guitar part, unison octaves. Okay, that's when you play the same note. That's what unison means. What I then did was, because I didn't want that to run till the end of the song, there's a button on my looper that lets you undo the last thing you recorded. So once I'd finished playing along, I just pressed the undo button and it disappeared, and it took me back to the original loop section. So here's the final verse all the way to the end. How many special people change? How many lives live as strange? Where were you while we were getting high? We were getting high. We were getting high. We were getting high. We were getting high. So this is the third time that the audience have heard this verse section with my little descending thing. So I decided to add a bit more in, so I'm playing arpeggios, just filling it out straight away from the start. And then I kind of hint at this line by playing this kind of thing. I'm just playing the same chord, I'm just adding more rhythm to it, just so it feels like it's moving along a bit more. And then I just went back to the usual guitar part that I've been playing, and no heroics. I just stopped the loop and strummed an A chord. This video has definitely highlighted that the intonation on my acoustic guitar is long gone. Okay, so if the tuning's getting on your nerves, trust me, it's getting on mine as well. But that's the guitar I have, so that's the one I'm going to use. Okay, so to summarize, when you use a loop pedal to form the basis of the entire arrangement, if you don't get it right at the start, it's going to be wrong all the way through. Please pay extra attention and care when you record that first loop to make sure that it's grooving and it's a solid base to build your arrangement on. If you ever want an audience to dance to your performance, if you don't give them the rhythm that they're used to hearing, it probably won't happen. Okay, so emulating a drum kit is a very useful idea to pursue. I've also hinted at the idea of learning different chord voicings. The more you learn on your guitar, the more ingredients you have to add to these loops. It's a win-win, really. If you do the work, you instantly get the results because you've got more that you can add. So I talked at the start about there being 3 layers in this loop. We had the bass line and the rhythm, which was like the kick drum. We had the chords in the middle section, and then we had whatever was going along on the top, whether it was the guitar solo or the lead line, or I was playing some high register chords or something like that. All we were doing all the time was adding things and taking them away. The loop doesn't change in volume. If you want to change in dynamics, you're going to have to add something or take something away. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video. In the next video, we'll use the looper pedal once more in a slightly different way. Loop pedal is not the be all and end all, but there was a few different things I wanted to explore. Now in the next one, I'm going to add lots and lots and lots and lots of little parts as I play through the song. And the idea is that when I get to the end of the song, when I turn my loop back on, it creates this huge finishing section. Okay, so please subscribe to my channel, Eddcarrguitar, so you'll know when the next video is coming out. If you'd like private tuition over Skype or Zoom, please get in touch with the contact details in the comments section below. Okay people, I hope this helps, and go and enjoy your music. Thank you.